Hey y'all, Hunter Elliott, rangehot.com. Hope you're doing well. This afternoon I'm finalizing my review of the new Colt Combat Elite that Colt has just introduced not that long ago. This particular one is a 5-inch government model, chambered in 45 auto. It can also be had in a Commander and Defender in 45 auto or 9mm, whichever you prefer. So think of these new Combat Elites as kind of a family of guns. You can use the 5-inch gun to take out to the range and practice or whatever, or carry. But if you want to go to something a little smaller, a little more compact, but still keeping a very similar family, then you've got the Commander or Defender option that's still in that same family, whatever caliber you prefer. But like I said, this is the government model, chambered in 45 auto, so this is what I'm going to go over. First thing I want to show you is the detachable 8-round box magazine is out. The slide has locked to the rear. Chamber's empty, so we know the gun is safe to talk about. First, let's go over some of the specifications on the gun. The overall length on this pistol is 8.5 inches. The barrel length is 5 inches, and that is a national match barrel, the same one they use in a Gold Cup trophy. The overall height is 5.5 inches. Overall width is 1.25 inches. The weight is 44 ounces. And the trigger pull comes in right around just over 5 pounds. MSRP, $13.99. Now you know that's the MSRP, so street price will be much better than that. Let's talk some of the features now. I'm going to ride this slide home. Starting here at the top, you have 3-dot Novak night sights. And the rear sight is adjustable for windage with a little set screw here. And in between these two sights, the top is kind of a matte black, and that's just going to kind of help break up any kind of sheen that you may get shooting out at bright sunlight or under bright light or what have you. Coming down here to the trigger guard, it does have a slightly undercut trigger guard, and that allows you to get a little bit deeper purchase on the gun. The front and rear strap are both nicely serrated at 25 lines per inch, and it does ship from Colt with these really nice Colt G10 stocks. It's got a really nice, deep, generous beaver tail grip safety with a palm swell here, and that's just going to ensure that when you grip the pistol, you get reliable disengagement of that grip safety. And then you do have an ambidextrous thumb safety that also, like the slide stop, is serrated to get a good solid purchase as you're operating the controls. And then this nice skeletonized speed hammer that's serrated at the top. That's about all the features of the gun. We got this pistol probably about a few months ago, and in that time we've run just over 300 rounds downrange. And I'll be straight with you, a lot of that was defensive ammunition. Aggressive jacket hollow point stuff, Hornady critical defense. Didn't have any kind of malfunctions or misfeeds with this gun. And that's pretty conducive to what I found with a lot of the new Colts that I'm reviewing. A lot of people talk about this break-in period on 1911s. Well, I'm not going to deny that as you shoot the gun and get a few thousand rounds down it may slicken up a little bit. But I don't feel like a gun needs a break-in period to be reliable out of the box. Now, speaking of a gun that's got a lot of rounds through it, here is the first Combat Elite. And I just brought this out for some nostalgic sake. I bought this pistol on Camp Lejeune probably sometime around the end of 1994, if memory serves. 45 auto. And this was actually the very first gun that I bought when I turned 21. And it is the Combat Elite. And I've had this thing, as you can tell, a long time. Put a lot of rounds downrange in this pistol. It has served me very well. Again, if memory serves, this pistol's been 100% reliable since day one. But I'll be honest with you, this original Combat Elite and then the one that they introduced several years back, the other bitone that I actually did do a review on as well, I'll include a link to that in the description. This new Combat Elite, well, in my opinion, it is by far the nicest of the 3 Combat Elites that's been introduced. Now, I did talk about it does ship with the 8-round box magazines, but I also ran a standard 7-round mag in the gun throughout the review, swapping back and forth. It didn't have any problems. Didn't matter that the slide locked back reliably with either or. Didn't have any kind of malfunctions or misfeeds. So whatever full-size mags you've got, this gun run fine. Now, it being a 5-inch, in my opinion, it would serve very well as concealed carry. A 5-inch gun, yeah, you got to dress around a little bit, but I do like that extended sight radius, and I like getting a little bit longer barrel, squeeze a little bit more velocity out of that 45 auto. But that big heavy bullet doesn't necessarily always need that little bit extra velocity. So if you opt for the Commander or Defender Combat Elite, then you're still going to have a really nice pistol. However, ideally, you should get all 3. I would see it serving very well concealed carry, home defense, self-defense, but in my mind, it's kind of a bridge between just the plain Jane Colt government model and the Gold Cup trophy. So it can certainly serve as range duty. You could certainly take it out and shoot a match with it, and you would certainly be competitive as long as you had your operator valve adjusted correctly. So I think that Colt has put a lot of features in this gun to bridge that gap between your plain Jane and your top of the line. And y'all, really, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's a Colt 1911 government model chambered in 45 auto, one of my favorite platforms and one of my favorite cartridges. So all in all, I'm very, very satisfied with the pistol. However, I have not even field stripped it yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to detail strip the gun and take a look at it. And I know that 300 rounds is not a lot of rounds downrange, but if there's something the matter with the gun, if something's not fit right, it's going to show up. So stand by, let me get this thing detail stripped, and we're going to take a good close look at all the innards. First thing I want to look at is this barrel that's a little nasty. I'm looking at the radial locking lugs here, and all the edges on these are clean and crisp. I don't see any kind of peenage or breakage or cracks. And also looking into the inside of the slide, the mating locking lugs in the slide are in good shape. Two things I want to point out: this pistol is running a Series 80 firing pin system, which in my mind is a non-issue. Something else that I forgot to mention earlier, this does have a match grade barrel that we did talk about, but I took this pistol out at 25 yards, shot it from a rest, 3-shot groups. Best group of the day that we got was 1 3/4. The gun was average about 2 inches, which in my mind is fantastic. I got the sear and disconnect here. I mean, the sear looks good, the disconnector looks good. All the Series 80 firing pin parts that work the plunger don't have any kind of peening or misshaping on them, so that lets me know that, as usual, the Series 80 firing pin system is timed correctly. The hammer hooks are nice and crisp. Something else I noticed, this pistol is utilizing a dual recoil spring system, and that's like you saw at the Colt M45A1. So I'm seeing that a lot of their R&D that's went into some of their previous models, Colt is taking advantage of now and putting in the newer models. So I mean, getting it all detail stripped apart, other than being a little nasty as expected, I don't see any problems or issues. So if you're in the market for a gun, if you're looking for concealed carry or home defense, you've got a lot of options with these Combat Elites, even with the Commander and Defenders, still getting a lot of really nice features, but at a price that's not too bad. So I would certainly take a look to see what Colt's got to offer, and this Combat Elite would be a very viable option for anything that you would need. Anyway, so as always, y'all, there's going to be an article on rangehot.com that's going to have all the technical specs and all that sort of stuff in it as well. So if you feel like I went over something too fast, or if you feel like I missed something, just jump over to rangehot.com, read the article there. You can also find a lot of information about this gun and everything else Colt's doing on the Colt's website. And I'll put links to all that stuff below the description, as well as in the written article. If you've got any questions or comments, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Let me know what you think, good, bad, right, or wrong. I appreciate any kind of feedback. So that's really about all I got. Okay, y'all, I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. Look forward to seeing you at the range.